Hi, Voxy coming at you. I know I said I was going to be back with more videos about cleaning and kind of getting my life together and being less of a trash monster. However, I've been out of commission for the last week because I had some fairly big medical stuff happen. This video I'm going to be posting predominantly for my group called Lady Times, which is a female group pertaining to female reproductive issues, just issues about being a female in general, and things like that. But I also wanted to post it to kind of my regular page and people because I want to talk about why I opted to get the hysterectomy, what it entailed, and kind of the procedure, and also be able to share information about what I've learned having gone through the procedure, how I'm feeling, and kind of do updates associated with that. So it's not cosplay and it's not trash monster. It's just kind of me, but it's also within that, I still have my feminist me and my very open me. And so I am doing this to share things about that. So basically, the reason I chose to have a hysterectomy was because I have dealt with endometriosis for 22 out of 37 of my years on this earth, which is basically my entire physical adult life. And it's been very problematic for me. Started out with endometriosis, and basically what that is when cells from the uterus find their way outside of the uterus and attach themselves onto other parts of your body. And instead of shedding during monthly cycles and things like that, they get angry and they cause adhesions and stick organs together and do all kinds of bad things. So in my 20s, to kind of mitigate some of that, along with the horrendous cycles that I was having from the endometriosis, which consisted of me going through like a super plus tampon every hour, severe anemia as a result of bleeding so much and so constantly, and kind of having to put my life on hold when I had my cycles, I decided to opt to have an IUD inserted. I went with the Mirena, which is a low dose hormone based one, opposed to copper one because I'm allergic to copper. And I was very happy with that because not only did it completely like stop my cycles, so I haven't had like a traditional cycle in like over 12 years, which has been really nice, but it was also known to kind of help some of the endometriosis problems with like cramping and just pain and fatigue and things like that, and it kind of did its job. I still had my first laparoscopic procedure about 10 years ago. And then they found that my colon was bound to my uterus with adhesions from the endometriosis. And they also found evidence of a ruptured cyst in there and kind of just general nastiness. So they got rid of all of that and zapped all my adhesions to get rid of them, which is one way of dealing with them. Is kind of just burning them out or cauterizing them or what have you. But they can still kind of grow and cause issues. So 10 years later, here we are now, I was still having a lot of just chronic pain from that. I had also developed chronic cysts on my right ovary and was just not really able to have a normal functional life in day to day without having pain. So it was a constant thing. So I opted to have a hysterectomy because I didn't want kids. I figured I'd gotten this far in life. Wasn't really like thrilled on the idea. It probably wasn't going to change. And given the risk factors due to my age and the fact that I have endometriosis, was not a process that I wanted to put myself through, even if I had wanted kids. So I went for the hysterectomy and they got rid of my uterus as well as my cervix, my fallopian tubes on both sides, and my right ovary, because that's the one that chronically had cysts and was causing me a lot of grief on a constant basis. So they took all that out and they did it laparoscopically with a robot assist. And I just have 4 little incisions on my belly. And honestly, I am doing so much better. Like, I have pain from the surgery and where my incisions are, and I'm not supposed to lift more than like 5 pounds right now. And I also get tired pretty easily, but that's, first off, not really a whole lot different than how I felt previous to this, but honestly, as a whole, my insides feel a lot better. So that is really great. And I chose this. There are other options for dealing with endometriosis. One of them is Lupron, which is basically it's a drug, and it chemically induces menopause, which means I get the hot flashes and all that stuff. And it basically dries up all my estrogen. I've done that twice and it didn't really help. I think it was pretty bad overall and caused me some other pain issues, which I'm not real happy about. And so wasn't going to even give that a go. And I would not recommend it to anybody that's looking to kind of find any kind of relief from endometriosis. It didn't work for me, and with the forums that I've been in, it hasn't really worked for any women that I've ever seen. I've never met or heard from a woman that's like, oh yeah, I had Lupron and now I feel totally better. It was a horrendous process both times. The hot flashes, the mood swings, the depression, it was not great. And kind of like getting through this whole process to get to where I'm at now was a big thing, because when I first went to doctors saying like, hey, something's wrong inside, I had a female doctor tell me like, oh, I think it's all in your head. It's got to be because of depression or something else. Like, it's just you're being dramatic about it. And I was like crying because I was in constant pain all of the time when I went to go see her. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? It's not in my head. And if I am depressed, I'm only depressed because I'm dealing with all of this pain all of the time. So screw you. So I kind of went a few more years without seeing anybody, finally found another doctor, and she did believe me because she had endometriosis herself and seemed to be quite the advocate at the time, but she's the one that put me on Lupron, and she also didn't want to do anything like the hysterectomy that I just had because she thought that I should have babies and that, they could help, they could fix things, they could make it better and all this. And I'm like, well, I don't want them. And so bringing them in the world just so that I can feel better doesn't really seem like a logical option. Also, like, really, really expensive. So yeah, not doing that. And it was a while before I'd had any doctors even take me seriously with it and understand that it was something that I wanted and that I didn't want kids and that I wasn't just here to be a mom or whatever. And no shade towards anybody that chooses to be a mother. It's just not my shtick. I am a fantastic fur mother to my cat babies, and any potential dog babies that we'll have in the future, but human children are not my thing. I like them when they can sit there and be cute, and when they get annoying, I give them back to whoever responded to them. Not my thing. So that's kind of what led me to this and decided to do it. And I'm very happy to say that I found a doctor, Dr. Angela King, over at the Women's Clinic of Northern Colorado, who was very helpful, very blunt, very straightforward with me, and was more than happy to go ahead and help me out. So thanks to her for that. It was a laparoscopic procedure, which means they go in my case, in 4 tiny little incisions. I'll show you. It's kind of gross. Mostly they're just discolored because of the there's some plasma that leaks out of them right now because it's only been a week since they had it, but also they put like super glue over them because the stitches are dissolvable and that needs to keep the air away. So it looks like I'm dirty, but I'm clean. I'm showered and everything. So I'm wearing my nice postpartum panties right here. These are helping to keep everything kind of cinched in and give me some ab support since they did cut right through my abs. And then I'm gonna go down. So the light's really bright, but there's the one on my right side. There's one on my left side. There's one right here to the side of my belly button.
and then the one inside my belly button. I'm pretty sure they said my belly button up's smaller than it was because it looks far littler than it ever did before. But yeah, they cut right through my abs. Like the incisions are all less than an inch long, but they went through all of them. And so I need my postpartum panties, and it sounds kind of weird because usually there's something women wear after having a child, but kind of like having a child, your organs have all shifted around with the hysterectomy. They're all in different places. Also, your stomach muscles are not what they were. So keeping that all kind of tucked in and in place is a good thing. And those were, I ordered them off Amazon. It was like $25 for 5 pairs, which is not bad considering I think that's as much as I pay for my thongs. And they're a fraction of the fabric because this is what they look like. See how hot are my granny panties? This is what they look like, not on, obviously. And the other thing that's nice too is when you have a surgery like this, like some bleeding is to be expected from time to time. And so the crotch is actually white cotton so that you can see if your discharge is normal or super bad, or if you need to like freak out and go to the doctor or anything. So that was nice. But yeah, the brand is Inersy. Inersy, and I just got them off of Amazon. My only complaint with them is that while the rest of them is fairly stretchy, the leg holes are not super stretchy, and they kind of cut in on me if I'm like laying down or in weird positions, or if I'm wearing them with my other little thing that helps keep everything in, which is my postpartum corset. Now, I like to wear corsets. I'm goth girl at heart, part of who I am, but this is not a hot goth girl corset. It is basically material that Velcro just sticks to inherently. It's also baby pink. My options were baby pink or white, and I don't do well with white things, so I went with baby pink. And I'm going to show you how to put it on. So we got this nice like blanket part that goes across my midsection. And then I've got these little Velcro tabs that just go across. But I'm fairly tall. I'm 5'9". And what's really nice about this is that it does go down to right about where my uterus had been to kind of tuck that all in. So it is large enough. I ordered a medium. Could have maybe gone smaller. I'm not really sure. And then it has these extra 2 little tabs that go on here. So I've been wearing this probably about 50% of my time in recovery because my abs don't feel strong. So when I cough, when I sneeze, when I need to get up, when I need to do any of that, I don't have that support that I normally have from my abs. So being able to rely a little bit on the corset and the panties together has helped me out immensely with that, which is really nice. The other thing too, especially the first day getting up and down, my friends got me a replacement uterus because I don't have mine anymore, which is what my shirt says. Got 99 problems and uterus ain't one of them. But they got me this little guy. This guy's actually really helpful because it's slightly bigger than the area that my uterus was and took over, and it just helps with more kind of cushion to hold over if I am having a cough or a sneeze or getting up or down. That little extra pressure, kind of a stent for support, is really helpful in this whole process. I've also been gifted with a recliner, which I have slept on because our bed is super low. So trying to get in and up and down out of that while recovering, and trying to not sleep on my stomach because I'm a stomach sleeper, and not have the cats come up and join me and walk all over me. The recliner has been super helpful with that. So that's been really nice. My last thing that I'm going to say, like kind of device wise, that I've had is my heating pad. Yes, it is practically the same material as my corset. My partner got this for me a while ago. It is soft heat. It's nice because I can position it around me. It has these elastic straps, kind of like my corset does, and it's a little stretchy. So I can put it around wherever it hurts. And it has 4 different heat settings and it automatically shuts off. So that's been super helpful in this process. And I'm wearing a t-shirt and pants right now, but honestly, I'm only wearing these pants because they are low enough and loose enough that they're not riding on my incisions. I put on regular pants the other day and it was not good. It was actually quite irritating because the way they sat just pressed into my incisions just enough to be super irritating. And it wasn't good even with the panties and everything else. So my clothing item of choice that I've been mostly wearing has been jumpsuits. Another thing that I was happy that I found long enough for my torso. I have this is my extra lazy one. Kind of has a waistband, but not anything that presses in on me. That one came from H&M and was like $8. I got a couple other cute ones from Target, but this one's probably my favorite. It's actually kind of colorful, kind of pretty. I do feel like I'm wearing pajamas when I wear it, but it's nice and comfortable. The only real downside of wearing jumpsuits is getting naked to pee, but as long as you don't mind that too much, it's definitely worth having those going through it. So they did this new thing when I went in for my procedure, and I had to drink 32 ounces of Gatorade 4 hours beforehand. And it's something to do with helping out with recovery. And I didn't really think much of it, but considering that they gave me Roxycontin after the procedure, and I've only used one of the pills since then, and that I've pretty much just been on ibuprofen and acetaminophen since then, has been pretty amazing. So I think there is something to be said with them doing their procedures differently and kind of changing that up and not using narcotics as much, especially because for me, narcotics really mess up my tummy. And I get crazy constipated and super uncomfortable because of that. And so not being on them is really great, because with having the hysterectomy, one thing that's frequent for women that I read up on is you have a lot of gas and crazy bloats. It's kind of like the worst period bloats ever. And so I have been taking pretty much my max dose on these. They are chewable gas relief. They are the Target brand of Gas X. As far as chewable things go, they don't taste too bad. And because you're chewing them up opposed to waiting for them to dissolve in your tummy, they do work fairly quickly. And those have helped me out a lot. And then the other thing I've been living on has been low sugar Gatorade. Because the first couple days in between sleeping, I was crazy dehydrated. And so I was drinking tons of this, diluted with water, as well as ginger ale. And ginger ale is nice because it helps with some of the tummy issues you have. But in case all of that doesn't help you out, I also have just some generic Equate laxatives from Walmart. These are the main ingredient is 5 milligrams, so it's less than some of the other ones. And ladies, or anybody, honestly, if you found a laxative that you like better, please tell me in the comments or wherever, because this one is one of those, like, you're backed up until you're not. And then everything comes forward. It's not as bad as the 10 milligram ones. But if you guys have something that you like better, I don't want to be that lady that's sitting there like scrutinizing all of the laxative labels and trying to figure out exactly which one's not going to make my ass explode. But if you have one that you like, please send it my way. I'd be happy to find something that works a little bit better and doesn't have some of the cramping and stuff before it all comes out that one does. But yeah, pretty much those are the products that I've been very happy to have, and have felt very lucky to have at my disposal during this time, as well as an amazing partner who has taken care of me and waited on my hand and foot this whole time. I've been pretty inactive for most of my time. Yesterday we actually went out to get pizza for dinner, and the day before I walked around Costco, and I washed my hair and I took a full-on shower, so that was nice. That's one other thing though. I don't know if it's just my hormones going nuts or my body kind of reacting,
I am normally, like I've disclosed before, kind of a trash human. I shower about twice a week. I wash my hair once a week. It's not a big thing. I generally don't smell. And if I do, like I kind of do, the horse bath in the sink with the washcloth and what have you. And that's plenty for me. Think it's gross, whatever. I don't care. It's my thing. My skin's happier for it. I'm happier for it. It takes less time. It's good stuff. But I've noticed that I am having to take more like rinse off showers because something in my body has changed and my sweat really stinks, and it stinks super quick. And we've been having the last couple of days have been like 90s, mid 90s, or 80s or so, and been pretty warm. I try and keep the house open because I don't like using AC all the time, but that is simply not an option because of the sweat that's involved, and it's kind of gross. So that's another thing to kind of expect if you guys are going through this or are curious about it. My insides don't necessarily feel totally different, but they don't hurt all the time. I haven't really felt like my organs are kind of reassembling themselves to fill in the spaces where my uterus was. But the one weird thing is I have felt still like a pain where my right ovary, the problematic one, was, which I go in for my post-op appointment tomorrow. So maybe I'll have more details about like why that hurts there. Because I know they took the cyst out with it. So I'm not really sure why it hurts as much as it does there, especially because there's no incision there, but it does. And then like, I don't know, your abs just feel like they didn't look too bad, and I don't feel like they actually look bad, but I feel like they're just hanging me loose and kind of weird on my stomach, and they're not doing a whole lot for me as a whole. And I feel like some tension with where the incisions are. So I'm hoping that goes away sooner rather than later, but given how they look right now, I'm thinking it's going to be a while before those stitches dissolve and like the super glue comes off and everything. So I'll have more details about that after tomorrow in dealing with all of that. But overall, I'd say fairly good experience. It was an outpatient procedure, so I did get to go home same day, which was really nice because I can't sleep in hospitals, and like they're very limited on what they can give you drug wise, which was basically just more of the Oxycontin. And I'm not down with that at home. If I feel the need, I can medicate with marijuana because I live in Colorado and it is legal here for both medical and recreational use. So I'm very lucky. And some of the CBD lotions I was using before my surgery to mitigate pain were very helpful for me as well. But you can't have those things in the hospital, and they can't give them to you because we're not elevated enough in our care system to have adopted that instead of just using opiates and things. But hopefully we'll get there soon. But yeah, I was very happy that I got to come home same day. That I was only really in the hospital from about 5 a.m. to about 5 p.m., I think. So 12 hours in and out. The procedure itself took under 2 hours, so not too bad there. I will say that with the procedure, waking up was a little hard because when they do those, they fill your guts full of gas and kind of expand your abdominal cavity so that they have room to work and see and pull the parts out that don't need to be there. And for some reason, when that gas dissipates, it comes up through your shoulders. And for me, it really kind of sat in my right shoulder, which already has problems because as a designer, somebody that works on the computer a lot, my right shoulder is already kind of fucked up. So that was less fun, but there's no real way to get rid of it. They say walking and moving around, but honestly, like that day, I was not moving around. I felt like crap. I could barely get up to go to the bathroom. And then the next day, I pretty much slept the whole day. I don't think that would have been any different had I been in the hospital. The only difference would have been that I would have been more doped up and less comfortable between hospital beds and drugs and everything else. So that is that. I think that's everything I have to say about my hysterectomy and all of that. Feel free to shoot me questions or ask me anything you want. I will be do my best to respond and respond candidly and openly, because I'm not really a bullshit kind of person anyway. So there's that. But yeah, and if you want links to any of the products that help me out, like my super pretty corset, or my magic undies, I call them magic undies. So ugly, but like so worth it. Like, even if I'm not wearing my corset, I tried regular underwear on the other day. I was very thankful to have these. Although I only have 5 pairs, I only ordered 1 pack of them. Kind of wish I had more, but I'm just doing laundry like a lot more, so, which helps because I only have a couple jumpsuits and I'm apparently super stinky right now. So, yeah. Anyway, that is that. Signing off.